Good morning, grade 9s, and welcome to a new week of online schooling. Today we're going to continue with visual literacy, looking more specifically at what advertising is. Advertising is a message that is designed to promote a product, a service, or an idea. So it's really just a message that has to convince us, the consumers, to spend our money on the product or the service that is being advertised. These messages are shown to the public by the media, by means of newspapers, magazines, radio, television, billboards, flyers. And today we see it more specifically in social media. If you think about Facebook, those of you who use it, or YouTube, we're often interrupted while we're scrolling or watching a video to watch an advert. And only once you've finished can we continue. So how are adverts classified as successful? What do they do to get the message to us that we'll remember it, especially when we face hundreds of adverts every single day? Adverts make use of emotive and persuasive means. A successful advert will make use of one or more of the following techniques: creativity, emotion, reason, fact, and opinion. Have a look at this advert by the Hard Rock Cafe. It is quite a simple advert. However, what they have done is they have taken the fork and converted it to the rock and roll hand signature. Now we know the Hard Rock Cafe is a place where you can sit down and have a meal, but also they have associated themselves or taken on the theme of rock and roll. So this advert is quite simple, but it has been cleverly done. For an advert to be successful, it has to reach the right people. You wouldn't necessarily advertise a typical mom soccer van to somebody just leaving high school. That would be a waste of money on your resources as an advertiser. So they have to look carefully at who their target market is. And this is the group of people that an advertisement is trying to reach. It may be divided into age, gender, social status, and activities. Advertisers use the fact that buyers classify themselves in order to create an advert to appeal to those classified groups. We might find ourselves in one of the following groups or boxes: teens, computer geeks, stay-at-home mothers, jet-setters, corporates. All of these will take on a certain attraction by those who produce the adverts, and the resources will be focused on these groups to get their info to us. When developing an advert, we consider the AIDA Principle. There is, however, some debate as to the relevance of the AIDA Principle. So this is an acronym that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So your attention, the first step, is to obviously grab the attention of the consumer. If we can't do this, we'll scroll on or page on or switch the channel. Therefore, they have to keep us engaged with the advert. And that's where interest comes in. This is to arouse and maintain the consumer's interest. Desire, to create a desire to own the advertised product, to see ourselves using the advertised product. And action, to manipulate the consumer into taking action. So what is attention? Attention is vital. Okay? This is where the advertiser grabs the attention of the consumer. This can be done by an eye-catching image, clever use of language, attractive layouts, posing a question, font type, so have a look at the lettering, and catchy headlines. Your interest: once the consumer's attention has been attracted, the advert must sustain his or her interest. Then the consumer must feel compelled to read on. You want to actually spend some time on this advert because it's taken your interest. There are two ways of doing this. We look at visual techniques and linguistic techniques. Your visual techniques, these are cartoons, graphs, colorful or attractive photographs, outline diagrams, statistics, and unusual layouts. Your linguistic techniques are your punchy headlines or captions, rhetorical questions, puns and alliteration, slogans and cliches, repetition and exaggeration, unusual trade names, emotive language, opinions stated as facts, jingles or catchy songs, and jargon. Now, I'm sure as South Africans, if I had to play a few well-known jingles or catchy songs, you could immediately relate those songs to the product being advertised or to the brand name. And then desire. Advertisers also appeal to basic human desires or needs and hint that desires needs will be met if their product is purchased. This is where they create an opportunity for the consumer to see themselves using or in this product. If you think about the fancy car that associates with wealth, or the latest makeup, or if you think of Axe attracting the opposite gender, these all help you to see yourselves as, okay, if I buy this product, I'm going to improve this and this in my life. And then finally, action. An advert would be useless if the consumer doesn't go out and spend their money on the product. Not only must advertisers get the attention of the consumer, but they must also need to ensure that the consumer acts in response to the advert. And this is done by using gimmicks. Gimmicks could be buy one, get one free, limited stocks, limited term offers, money back guarantees, easy payment plans, discounts, free gifts, bargain of the century, clearance sales, reduced prices, order immediately and XYZ might happen. So this is all done to force us to spend our money and to actually force us to spend our money quite soon. Have a look at this marketing campaign by Toyota.
The Great Recession of 2008. The global economy had turned into a dog's breakfast, making access to credit almost impossible, and car manufacturers like Toyota took the brunt of the downturn. With limited budgets and a shrinking market, they had to find a big idea that would work for the entire Toyota product range, with its wide and diverse audience, all the while reinstating Toyota as one of the most loved brands in the country. They needed a hero, someone unexpected, with incredible charm and appeal, style and flair. Someone like, well, me. Friday, the 25th of September, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. Hey, I can smell you from here. Take a bath. Help me, help me. What a chop. Cheap. The wild dog, an awkward, smelly canine. Sus, they really should remain lesser spotted. Ready, sit. How about no? Enough of this tomfoolery. Like a dog chasing its tail, my campaign went the full 360, putting my charm and wit into press, print, radio, and in-store dealer activities, covering every topic from new models, product features, dealer servicing, and financing. I was the perfect spokesman for the brand, and if I do say so myself, a star in the making. And of course, the interweb. Ooh, I want that one. No, that one. No, wait, that one. Starring in my own series of online videos and banner ads, I became the king of viral. Hey, take a bath. I can smell you from here. Sorry. No more silly dog stuff like licking my tail and chasing myself. I just thought I'd change the script. Look at me, I'm looking all, look at where I am. Holes in the dark, it's a shit terror. See what I did there with shit terror? Cheap. And drove thousands to the Toyota website, where visitors could engage each vehicle in the range with informative games and other virtual treats. We wait to see if the campaign was a success. By now, I had become a household name, and the only question was, did we answer the brief and create an idea that would take the Toyota brand to the next level?
The ad is fantastic.
Kids love him, adults love him. I think he's great.
My kids, they love it. Even when they're crying, as soon as that dog come out, they start laughing.
I love them.
Yeah?
I love the big dog.
Love them, man.
Would you like to meet Talking Dog?
Yeah. Yes. See that? Wait.
I was an instant phenomenon. People loved me, and more importantly, responded to my message. And the proof was in the pudding. The Corolla and Hilux spots were both featured in the top 10 most liked ads of 2009 by Millwood Brown, with Corolla taking the #1 #1 spot for a locally produced ad. The public claimed me as their own. Fan pages popped up on Facebook, Twitter, and sites around the globe. Even hits on YouTube had streams of positive comments. They even sent in lengthy poetry and praise and celebration. Even the media couldn't resist my $1 million smile. While I featured in magazine articles and radio interviews,
one of the new campaigns that's being spoken about a lot is the new Toyota Corolla television commercial, which features a talking boxer dog.
extraordinary team.
What extraordinary team. Most unanimous, love the ad, love the dog, love everything.
My stardom was on the rise, and Toyota dominated share of voice in the media. The Buddy campaign was so successful that even when Toyota was rocked by global recalls, sales and sentiment of the Toyota brand in South Africa remained at an all-time high. Now, I'm not saying that it was all me, but I like to think that it was my natural charm that helped Toyota create one of the most loved campaigns in recent history, and, dare I say it, a national icon. That would be me.
Okay, so yeah, Toyota had to obviously be quite creative in the adverts that they produced. You know that this occurred as the recession happened in 2008. So by using Buddy, the boxer dog, they cleverly were able to associate themselves as this truly South African product. And obviously they reached out to all different types of target market, different ages, races, cultures, which obviously made their product very successful. So what language is used in adverts? We look at informal language, everyday speech, vocab that is less sophisticated, simple sentences, informal grammar, colloquialisms, and slang. Remember, you want to attract your product and make it associated with the target market. Informative language informs viewer of the product or service, language that aids the selling of the product, and then jargon, okay, language that is related to a specific field. Emotive language could include appeals to emotions rather than to intellect, and it is persuasive, so it is a persuasive language technique. Advertisers make use of fact and opinion, propaganda, sensationalism, and bias, or terminology or terms that you do need to know quite well. Bias, remember, is to be in favor or against something without prior knowledge. So what info should be on an advert and how does it make an advert successful? Look at the logo. Okay, this is the picture or graphic that is used as an identifying symbol. Here immediately we can see the old symbol for apps, so we know that recently they've undergone a makeover. The slogan, short, memorable phrases that is immediately or are immediately associated with a brand. And then a copy, the written info. So adverts who are quite successful, thinking about McDonald's and Coca-Cola, their logos and their slogans are immediately known as soon as we see it or hear it. And then graphics, illustrations on the advert. So designing a print advert, we look at the layout. Okay, so an advertiser would want to keep a good balance between lettering and graphics. Use open space to guide the eye to important design elements and info. These are all techniques that you need to think about when you analyze adverts in your exams. And then originality. An original idea always attracts attention. Careful thinking and brainstorming is required. Make use of other people's creativity for objective inputs. Have a look at this advert by BMW. It's quite a simple advert if you look at the lettering and the image. The colors aren't quite vast if you see just the black, gray, and white colors that are used in the advert, with a sleek black BMW as the centerfold of the advert. However, there are three letters that draws the consumer's attention to. You owe you. Okay, so you owe to yourself to buy this car. So by a very simple advert, they brought out quite an interesting message. You owe to yourself to spend all this money on this car. Let's have a look at the next advert. And so yeah, Volkswagen cleverly shows that obviously you wouldn't drive your car through a drain storm piping or gutter along the highway, but it just shows what your car is capable of. Also notice how the highway on the left of the vehicle or our right is jam-packed, and how the Volkswagen car is almost separated from those other cars, almost showing it's out of range of those cars, that it can do a lot more and it's better than those cars. Okay, this is a creative advert by Subaru. And you see, you immediately think, okay, hang on, what's going on with this advert? The writing is backwards. But if you have a look at the text just above the two vehicles in the image, it says they're reversing cameras now, standard, on all new Legacy and Outback models. So obviously they've now introduced a new technology that makes their vehicles truly unique. And if you spend some time reading on it, it says it's no longer this difficult to go backwards. Okay, an advert by Harley Davidson, the motorcycle company. He has a small child with an arm full of tattoos, and it says, Harley spirit, you're born with it. Okay, so the idea is that from the young age, you are born into the lifestyle of owning this vehicle. Okay, Coca-Cola often relies on this idea that they've been around for such a long time. And the center idea of this advert is 125 years at the movies. So those of us who do go to movies still will know that often we would take the option of a Coca-Cola with our popcorn into the movie. Also notice the use of color. Okay, it starts with a black and white picture of a Coca-Cola bottle, then a colored one, and then a more complex one, which obviously alludes to the idea of it being 3D. And that just shows over time how the cinemas have changed from black and white films to 3D ones that we watch today. So it shows that Coca-Cola has been there throughout the journey as cinema has evolved. Okay, here's another advert by Volkswagen. Okay, the first thing to have a look at is the logo, the VW, the blue and white logo, and the slogan, for the love of automobiles. Okay, here's a picture of a child dragging a large teddy bear into the vehicle. And the first thing is obviously the size of the teddy bear that makes one think. There are lettering in the advert, new caddy, maxi life, infinitely bigger. So obviously the idea here is this vehicle will suit your needs as a family. So it is more related to families. The next advert by the WWF. Okay, the words there, don't buy exotic animal souvenirs. And he has quite a simple picture or illustration of a woman with a bag walking through an airport that's quite empty. However, we notice that there's a blood trail along where the bag is being pulled. And that idea is buying exotic animals obviously costs animals, and obviously blood is shed. The next advert. Okay, so this is also by the WWF and says you can help stop global warming. So the idea with global warming is that animals are being forced out of their natural habitats. And here a seal is on a park bench or a bench on the side of the street, associating itself with something that is homeless. So something you'd often see a person lying on a bench under newspapers, we know that that person is homeless. So the idea here is that global warming is causing animals to be homeless. And the last advert. Here's a clever advert by BMW on the left. And it's a response to Audi. And it says, congratulations to Audi for winning South African Car of the Year 2006. And then at the bottom below the vehicle, it says, from the winner of World Car of the Year 2006. So a bit of banter in response to Audi winning the South African Car of the Year award. But BMW reminds the consumers and even Audi that they in fact won World part of the year in 2006. And then on the right, there's an advert by Kit Kat, and it says, have a break, have a Kit Kat, right? And there's a vuvuzela that is cut in half. So obviously you have a break from the noise. And this advert was probably brought out in 2010 when the vuvuzela was popular. So when you work through an advert, always have a look at the different techniques. Have a look at spacing. You might find the advert on the left here with BMW is a bit more busy. Okay, there's more color that is used. The background is evident with more wording. However, on the right, a very simple white background is evident with two images, the chocolate, the Kit Kat, and the vuvuzela that is split in half. So bring all of these ideas into your answers when you respond to advertising and the questions in the exam. Work through this PowerPoint again. Make sure that you understand the terminology really well and that you can apply what you've learned today in an exam. So don't just take an advert for face value. Often adverts deal with something that is a lot more intense than what we think.